Hey everyone, welcome to part one of my episode with Declan Taylor. Now in this episode we cover Bivol, Beterbiev, we cover Clarke, Wardley, and we cover a little bit of AJ and Dubois. Now bear in mind we have a little bit of an issue with our audio, but enjoy, let me know what you think. We've got 2 more parts coming up. Hey everyone, so first guest on the show and I'm so happy we've got Dec. Now I'm going to do a quick intro for him because I know he won't do it himself. I first started knowing who Dec was through the boxing news. If you're a boxing lover, you will have read the boxing news. One of the best boxing magazines out there.
Only one still in print.
Really?
Yeah.
The ring ain't in print?
Nope.
Unbelievable.
Online only.
Well, there you go, yeah. So basically this is the guy. If you're looking to read about boxing, this is your man.
Oh.
Also, one of, if not my favourite podcast out there, the George Groves podcast. This is the one that makes it make sense. George Groves is great, but Dec is the voice of reason. So, welcome.
Oh, thanks. That's a lovely intro. Best intro I've ever had.
I didn't even practice that.
Did you not?
No.
That was off the dome.
That was off the cuff.
Interesting you say about boxing news, right? And I noticed you got some amazing setup, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you think about the new design?
Love
Have
it.
you noticed it?
Yeah,
have
of
you?
course.
Like
Yeah.
it's just changed a bit, the flavour on the covers and that.
Funnily enough, I was putting them all up there today and I thought, oh, in a short space of time you had a few different looks.
Good point. Very, very well noticed.
Yeah.
I wonder if everyone else notices that.
I doubt it because no one's as sad as me.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, taking it well back, do you remember the big ones?
Yes.
They were poor quality.
Yeah, I mean, you see the old ones,
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
the proper old ones, it's
Yeah.
mad how much has changed.
Yeah.
And like the old ones are just pure words as well. But yeah, the big ones, I don't know, also we got new paper, which is really good quality
New
paper.
paper, I didn't even
And the
put that.
design is, the design's had a tweak.
Got more over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got that.
We're speaking obviously before Bivol, Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, Bivol.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Do you want to know a fun fact about that?
Did you design it?
Maybe I can never reveal this yet, fuck it. See that Rule Britannia?
Yeah.
So our head designer Nick Bond is best in the game.
Unbelievable.
Former amateur boxer, very good as well. And he's actually, check his Instagram at Made in Hammersmith. He hates any plaudits, but he's unbelievable artist with pens and pencils.
Nice.
Anyway, that Rule Britannia, he was like, oh, I want to think like hand style. I don't want to put it in the thing. He wrote it down himself, and he was like, it just looks like I've written it. So he got his son to do it. And his son just banged it out one go, Rule Britannia, and it's on the front of the Boxing News.
Go on.
Yeah, and the one this week, which is Beterbiev Bivol, obviously we used imagery with the Game of Thrones stuff because it was just too good to miss.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a really good cover. And yeah, we've had some bangers recently.
Definitely, you've upped your game.
Up the game. Yeah, because it was not getting tired, but it's like you need to evolve in some way.
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah. It's a great paper.
Yeah. Well, that's all we need to know.
Yeah.
You're one of our millions of subscribers.
Podcast
Well, I'm
on.
assuming you actually subscribe.
Of course I do.
Okay, good. Good. Yeah.
No, so yeah, I mean, there's loads to cover at the moment.
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
going
it
on
really
in there.
is.
Because
Yeah.
at first I thought, oh, well, we've got the big fight at the weekend, but what else is there? Actually, there's quite a lot going on.
Yeah, it's buzzing at the moment. Like this one is Riyadh season card. I was thinking they've done one in August, September. This is the October one. They got one in November. They got one in December, which is wild. This is the first time it's ever been this like consistent for them anyway. I mean, for the Saudis. I mean, if you think it was a year ago this month, that was Fury. What's his face? Ngannou.
Yeah.
That was a year ago.
Yeah.
All of this has happened in a year.
Mm.
And then it's interesting to see how the rest of the sport like operates and works when there's a clear emphasis on what's happening in Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gervonta Davis, they were going to go on the 21st. You see that? They're not now, it's on the 14th, but they were going to go head to head with Fury Usyk on December the 21st.
Why would you do that?
I know, well, it seems like if you think Al Heyman stuff has been like conspicuous by its absence in Saudi, there's no sign of it.
Mm.
There's bits here and there, like the odd fighter and whatnot, but he's obviously not in the photos with Turki Al-Sheikh holding hands and that, which everyone else does.
I was thinking this morning while I was getting my nails done, as you do, I was thinking, why, if anyone can make that fight happen with Shakur,
Yeah.
surely it's going to be Al-Sheikh.
Well, I think, they're obviously, he was supposed to box, wasn't he, Cordina. That was that on this, actually? That was supposed to be on the card of this, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're obviously going for Stevenson, but he's a top-ranked fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, remember at the start it felt like all he cared about was heavyweights and he was just like, he's obviously not the case. He's talked about Tank before, he's obviously someone he obviously wants Canelo. So I think in time that's the fight. It will happen in Saudi. Who knows what's going to happen in Saudi though?
Yeah, that's it.
Because it's changing already. Like I'm sure we'll talk about it in a sec, but there seems to be like slight changes here and there. They're obviously ramping it up, and when you ramp it up to this extent, like what's that? It's 5 cards in 5 months, big ones, world title fights at the top and all that. It's like, how can you sustain that, and how do you make it bigger and better? Because that's all they ever want to do.
Yeah.
Surely there has to be a ceiling of some description.
Yeah, so true. I mean, even just the little bits I've seen on Instagram. This fight week, it looks like a theme park.
Yeah.
Is that real snow?
The whole, yeah, I know. I mean, I know what it sounded, but it's mad, that place. Honestly, that place where they do the grand arrivals, it's just like they've just built it obviously out of nothing. Like, first time I went to Saudi was Amir Khan box Billy Dib. Remember that?
No.
That was in Jeddah.
Oh, vaguely,
yeah. Yeah, that was like a few years back, obviously. That was in Jeddah, and Jeddah was like a building site. Everything just going up and up, and then a Riyadh for Joshua, Andy Ruiz rematch, and honestly, that city is totally different to how it was then, and that wasn't even that long ago. The whole place is changing, and obviously they're just, they're trying to make it sustainable, and they're trying to this vision for 2030 and stuff. But the boxing obviously has been the massive beneficiary of it. But the place is wild. Like, yeah, you're right. The whole everywhere the grand arrivals has got like an Eiffel Tower and all that stuff. It's like Vegas.
Yeah,
it's quite weird.
Just making sure we're recording.
Yeah, I think we might be.
You think we might be?
I reckon so. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it's crazy.
This is on, yeah.
I can't see a light on the back. That's all. There was a light on the back before.
Oh, there it is.
Is it on? The light.
When I speak, is it?
No. That's what's worrying me. But this.
But now it's on. Is it on now?
Is mine on? Yeah,
yours
is
has just
on
gone
now.
off.
Is it on now? It's playing games with me.
Yours is on now. Yeah, let me see.
On now.
Yeah, yours is on. Is mine on?
Yeah.
It should be fine. Well, the thing is, it'll probably pick up some audio anyway.
Yeah, I hope so. Right, so let's jump into the fight. Who are you picking? Let's go deeper.
I'm picking Ben Whittaker to beat Liam Cameron. I've said this on various places. I think Bivol's going to win. I'm picking Bivol because I think he obviously has a style to do it. If there's one person who can nullify someone, it's him, as we've seen before. Beterbiev, it's one of those predictions that you could look real stupid pretty quick, because obviously he could walk through it like he does everyone else. But I think if you look at some of his stoppages, obviously Yard was like later in the fight, had some success early, quite a lot of success actually. Callum Smith was like, it wasn't that late in the fight, but Bivol, I think he's got the wherewithal to just, and the size and the strength, to just keep it out of trouble for a bit. And I think if it goes a distance, he'll win.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's how it works. But he could quite easily, like we said on our pod, he's the lava, he could easily just overwhelm him. What we've never seen, for sure, is Bivol against someone as good and as powerful as Beterbiev. We've never seen Beterbiev against a boxer like Bivol.
No.
Someone's got to do something that we haven't seen yet, or have to prove it against someone we haven't seen. So that's what makes it a great fight. So, I don't know, it's one of those gut feeling ones. And I know there's millions of people who are like, Beterbiev's obviously going to knock him out. He's 20-0, 20 knockouts. But he is 39.
This is the thing, for me, nothing's obvious. Anyone that is set certain,
either way,
is a bit mental.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I said Bivol, because I'm 9 times out of 10 I'll go to. Yeah, but no, I have.
Okay. Have you?
Yeah.
At what point? And why?
Like yesterday.
That's the worst thing to do.
The last 2 weeks, I've watched basically every fight I can get on YouTube, and I sat there. I couldn't believe I couldn't pick between the two, because I watched them both and I just was astounded by the pair of them. I already kind of knew that Bivol was unreal, but watching that much of Beterbiev, one after the other, that opens your eyes a little bit more, because it's like, this man ain't. I don't know if he's a throwback.
Yeah.
He's a throwback in terms of, he's not an explosive puncher in terms of he's only going to knock you out with one punch, and once he's lost that explosiveness, he's kind of a bit safer. He's not that kind of puncher. He will knock you out first round, last round, beginning of the round, end of the round, whenever. But also, his technique is so undervalued, I think. But you see,
he's written off as just like a puncher. Yeah. But
so far from the truth.
Yeah.
This is really, I think mostly I've changed my mind because I've been finding him quite funny.
Beterbiev, he's fucking hilarious, man. George got him on the pod, and it was like one word at him, and he's so funny. He's just so dry. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So I think that's mostly why I picked it, which I know is not going to. Listen, if you can't...
That's not sound
No,
basis.
it's not sound. Look, don't put any bets on...
Based on that.
Not that you would anyway, but...
Yeah, like, because he's funny.
He's got
funny.
A sense of humour.
I think Bivol's funny as well.
Maybe.
Problem with these guys, their English is not great, so you never quite know. Like, you can never quite get... There used to be the same with Canelo. It's like, he's such an interesting cat, but like, it's always broken English or a translator, which is even worse. So it's like... Yeah, I can imagine. Povetkin was the same. It's like, I bet he's got a mad story. Like, if you could sit Povetkin down and speak Russian, you don't. You get piecemeal stuff from like a translator and whatnot. Same with these guys. I saw a clip. It was hilarious. I'm trying to think. Dev Sani it was who asked Beterbiev a question. It's basically like, on Anthony Yard has never been hurt or like this or whatever, and Beterbiev like gives him this long build up to a question, and Beterbiev's just like, and just like don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, he's great. There's also a lot of interviews where people talk, again, they give him a long build-up saying about, oh, people have spoken about your footwork, and his answers are always kind of like, I will try to be a better boxer.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, he does knock everyone out eventually as well, so he is underrated as a boxer.
100%.
But also, I said this on ours, it's like, he reminds me of George Foreman. Power is like George Foreman-esque in that there's no backlift. There's no, like, remember that George Foreman drive-by knockout? Where he's just like, it just comes out of nowhere, just like wallop like that. It doesn't even. There's no build up.
He doesn't mind.
It's just like just everything he throws is thudding. And that's why Yard, who had athletic guy, can punch. It's just like he gets worn down in the end because wherever, even if it hits him on the arms or the hip or the fucking back or the shoulder, it's like gets to you eventually.
Yes,
He was basically stopped because of exhaustion in the end. Yard.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Same as Daniel Dubois against Usyk. It's that same, just can't withstand.
It's just consistent pressure.
Yeah.
Not even just with fuck this guy hits so hard, which is obviously the main thing with him, but it's his feet as well. I think his feet are underestimated. Everyone knows Bivol's got phenomenal footwork.
Yeah.
But Beterbiev's feet are just so smothering. Like the lava thing.
Yeah. It just makes him small. Just makes the ring small, doesn't it? It's like Golovkin. You speak to Matt Macklin about boxing Golovkin. Obviously, he got knocked out in the end. But it's not like, okay, yeah, he punches like fuck. Like, but the problem is just you're trying to breathe, and he's on top of you with his feet, with pressure, and then he's touch you upstairs, and then hit you to the body, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You're so exhausted. Bit like Usyk against Bellew. Exhausted him with his feet. Knocked him out, not because he's like Deontay Wilder power, but because he's so tired. Just don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And like, there is that, but I would say, here's a question for you though. Could you think of a bet, if you were trying to find someone to beat or to nullify Beterbiev, is there anyone better on the planet who would have a better chance than Dimitri Bivol based on style at that weight?
No.
Even at any weight. Like, if you think based on that style that he's got, the range he's got, the way he controls distance, also the way that he can just suck the fucking fun out of any situation by being like amateur, proper, polished, that stuff that he's obviously been drilled for his whole life. That is the best chance, I think. Better chance than chucking a puncher at him. And just going, someone try and knock him out.
No, 100%.
Someone who can try and do this again. Like, think when he boxed Canelo, how many people were saying, Canelo's going to chin, punch too hard, Bivol won't be able to know it. And he just boxed the orders. I know they're different sizes and shapes and everything else, but like, if you look back at what people were saying before the Canelo fight, it was much the same as this.
No, agree.
So you changed mind?
No.
Also, never change your mind off what you thought. That was the old adage that I think it was Colin Hart who told me, and he was like, whatever you think at the start, don't fucking change it. Because all that's going to happen over the course of a promotion is stuff's going to get chucked at you. Half the time it's like 3 sources old. So one person sees it in the gym, tells their mate tells Eddie Hearn tells someone else, and then they tell you, and you're like, okay, yeah, well, that must be true. And then you watch the fucking 24/7 or the All Access.
I was just about to say, it's a good... I haven't watched it. We ain't got 24/7.
No, they're not anymore, but I remember, this is the worst shout I ever had, was when Robert Guerrero boxed Floyd Mayweather. And I genuinely watched that.
Yourself there.
Yeah, I know. And I remember being like, Guerrero, like, I didn't pick him to win, but I was like, I think he could be all right here. It's because you watch him, he did all his CrossFit, he was a southpaw, and the Mayweather edits were just a bit like, he wasn't really taking it seriously, like he never seemed to, but obviously but obviously he was. And in the end, it was a total mismatch.
Yeah, Mayweather was a genius for that though, he knew what he was doing.
Those fight weeks, Matt Christie, my mate, our Boxing News editor, he used to be like, by the end of a fight week, he would be back in the underdog. 100%, because everything that happened in the fight week just used to get in his head. And that's what's happened to you.
No, I swear, all I've done is watch more of both of them.
So what is it about Bivol that you think...
could be beat?
Yeah, or is it just because Beterbiev's so good?
It's just because Beterbiev's so good. This is one of those fights, though, and there's not many of them, where you say one thing for a fighter, and you could equally say it.
Yeah, the opposite. Yeah.
So for example, with Bivol, you say, oh, well, he didn't look that good against Lyndon Arthur, he didn't look that good last time out, and it was late. However, he's one of those weird fighters that boxes to the level he's got in front of him.
1,000,000%. And also, say those fights you just mentioned, very little peril, very little trouble or threat to him, so he can just settle in. What an example I always think of is when Tyson Fury boxed Derek Chisora, right? Derek Chisora just keeps coming at him. So Fury, everyone's like, oh, he's just going to walk him around, which he kind of did in the end. But it's like, if you've got someone coming at you, what are you fucking supposed to do? You have to punch him back. Yeah. That's why that fight was just a beatdown. Because it's like, but what if you got someone in front of you who's not throwing anything, or is so bamboozled by your skill, it's like, well, I can't really do anything, so I'm just standing here. So then Bivol's no threat, so he's like, I'll just do what I fucking want. Bivol can be hurt though. I know so can Beterbiev, but Bivol can, and I think people always say, oh, Beterbiev can be hurt. Totally elusive. Yeah, definitely. He got hit in his last fight. What was the one where he got hurt on the bell? His face stayed exactly the same, but his legs went wobbly. Yeah, no. That was a few fights ago, wasn't it? It was a few fights ago. Yeah, but he obviously definitely can get hurt. But equally, it might be because he switches off, because he's that much in control. Yeah. Someone like as well. Like I remember James DeGale, right? He used to be when he boxed the best people, he would perform the best, and when he wasn't, he was like, didn't get his juices flowing. Then when he boxes Andre Durrell in Boston for the world title, this fucking great fighter from America, and all the brothers and stuff barking at him and shit, he almost knocks him out. Amazing performance, certainly early in the fight. Badu Jack fight, New York, everything, puts in that unbelievable bravery, that brave performance. But it's like when he was boxing Dyer Davis in Blue Water, it was just like it wasn't at the races. Didn't have to be. Yeah. So I think there's a bit of that for both of them. People always go back to Beterbiev against Callum Johnson. It's like, oh yeah, he got dropped. He got up and knocked Callum Johnson out. It's like, but they can both be hurt. But it's like, in fights where they're expected to win is what has happened so far. So then you're like, what happens now when they're both, like you would assume, at their absolute peak? But then how do we know that's the case? Like,
surely Beterbiev can't be at his peak.
Can't be. He's 39, he's injured, he's had 2 camps now.
He's had everything injured.
2 fights where proper delays. The one against Callum Smith, the dental thing was really serious. Torn a meniscus, I think. I hope he has, because I keep fucking saying it. But that's a serious injury.
Oh yeah, it's hard to come back from.
And then Bivol, he seems to have this mad public separation from the mother of his children, and she's saying all this stuff on in the press and that, and he's trying to prepare for the biggest fight of his life. Rightly, I don't know, fuck knows what happened there, but it's like, how's that going to affect him? Yeah. Is it going to make him can he turn that switch off? I'd assume he can, because he's fucking world champion and
Well, these are all the little rumours before fights that we kind of mention but don't really think too much about. And then after the fight, everyone goes, oh, well, obviously because he's Asian, or obviously because of the drama.
Yeah. It's like Costa when he boxed Ricky Hatton. It's like, oh, yeah, but Costa was over the hill. It's like, no one was fucking saying that when he turned up. People saying he was pound for pounder and
I refuse to say that to this, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's an amazing win. But it's always wise after the event. And it's like, there will be things here. Same with Joshua against Dubois. It's like, oh, yeah, but he is chinny and we've seen that before and stuff. But in reality, it's like, no, it was a mad fight and he got hit on the chin by Max.
You've just reminded me, I'm sure that's why you've mentioned it. You caught that.
Yes, I did. I did. Yeah, I did.
A week or so before.
Yeah.
You messaged me saying this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I did. Shit, I did. And you didn't have it.
No, I ain't.
Yeah, I just had a feeling. To be fair, to be totally honest, I didn't think he was going to fucking pulverise him like he did and win so comfy. I thought he would have a few rounds against Hrgovic, where he got hit a lot, but he withstood it and then took out a tiring Joshua. That's not what happened. He just dominated the fight. Yeah. But I did pick him to win. Yeah.
You did pick him. There's a few people that picked him. Not many, but nobody picked what would happen. No. Anyway, we're
digressing. Annoyingly, just before I do, I messaged Eddie Scottney saying get on Terry Harper against Rhiannon Dixon the other week. She was 7-2 or something. The price was unbelievable. Forgot to back it. Also wrote in the Boxing News in my preview that Dixon was going to win. But I still picked Harper on the thing. I was fucking all over the shop in that prediction. Didn't win any money on it either, which was a bit of a shame.
And confused a lot of people.
Totally confused. So don't listen to Beterbiev Bivol prediction.
Well, definitely don't listen
to it. But it's
going to be. Apparently, it's a comedy show.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. I honestly think it could be a stinker. and it suits
I've heard
Bivol
the
if it is.
opposite. People, yeah.
It could be amazing. I fucking hope so because
I hope it's
we
amazing.
have to pay for it now. But
This is the thing with these fights. They're being made such a big thing of. If they end up being stinkers, it's such a big letdown.
it's like, do you know what these ones? This one hasn't done so much, but you know the ones that cross over into like the more casual audience, and then so like Mayweather Pacquiao. Everyone's watching it. Like my mates from fucking school I haven't spoken to are texting me about it. And I'm like, fuck you, like, why do you care about Mayweather Pacquiao? And then they watch it and they don't like the fight and they're like boxing shit.
Yeah.
And it's the same with when else did that happen? Joshua Parker, right? So Anthony Joshua beats Joseph Parker and like basically outboxes him over 12 rounds. Quite a dull fight. It was because the whole build-up was like Joshua's a machine, he's a killer. And then when he goes out and boxes someone to orders and beats him on points in a slightly sort of low-key fight, it's like, well, he must be shit. It's like, no, he just unified the fucking heavyweight division. That's a win, by the way, that's got much better with time as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So this one, the eyes of the world on you, it's like, the fucking best of the best, the greatest light heavyweights there ever been, like all this stuff. It could stink the place out.
Really?
I think it's in Dimitri Bivol's interest for that to be the fight. That's what I feel.
100%.
Same with the Canelo fight, wasn't that exciting? Because he just did the business. Like,
no, I think the only reason the Canelo fight is looked upon fondly is because nobody expected that to happen.
no, a couple of people, Tebbert picked that, Chris Lloyd picked that. They were like, put their neck above the line and said, no, I think Bivol's going to do, he's too big. Like, the dimensions are wrong. But for the most part, everyone was like, Canelo's going to knock him out. I remember we had Barry Jones, it was on when we were working for Boxing Social, one of the pods then. And it was like, how do you beat Canelo? And Barry, he was like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. If I was like, if you were his coach, what would you say? And he's like, I don't really know. But now, that's what I mean. You know, when you say about looking back at it, like, well, of course he won. He's too big. He's a light heavyweight. Canelo's only a light middleweight, you know, but he's come through the rest all that stuff. It's just one of them.
Yeah.
And this could be one of them. Like, especially someone picking Bivol could look real stupid.
Yeah, but equally you could say the same about Beterbiev.
Yeah,
his knee and his age.
Yeah.
He's nearly 40 years old.
Yeah, 39 years old.
I'm 34. I get a bad neck looking the wrong way.
So yeah, he's sparring fucking the best of the best.
The best of the best.
Craig Richards was in the camp as well.
I saw.
Which is an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, that's phenomenal sparring, but he's nothing like Bivol.
No, he's not. But he is good. And I'll be interested, I mean, to see those spars. We had Dan Aziz on the pod. He sparred Beterbiev. Just said he's just like a different beast. You can imagine it, can't you?
Yeah.
But does it take a toll on you? That sparring.
Of course.
That sparring, that training. You know the shit he does with his neck. Like all this stuff is all old school.
He's a real throwback.
Proper. And can your body withstand that for this long? I mean, clearly Knox keeps getting injured. It's like David Hay at the end of his career kept getting injured because it's just like your human body can't do that for that long. You can't even do anything about getting a bad neck.
No, I cannot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have one after this.
5 years. Imagine in 5 years you'll be absolutely fucked.
I'll be in bandages.
Yeah.
But hopefully he can pull out one more big performance.
Well, why do you say hopefully?
Because his dry sense of humour has made me want him to win.
Yeah. For
It's
boxing.
one-word answers.
Yeah, but I'm thinking for boxing. I mean, a shit for me. He is terrible for me.
Why?
Because you can't interview him. You don't get any good things out of it. I remember interviewing him once on Zoom. It was decent, to be fair. I can't remember what he said, but I remember just like, it's hard fucking work. And then both of them are, to be fair. That's why this is a bit of a trade fight. You can't really get a good line out of either of them.
I used to think, right, I've got to learn Spanish. Mexican Spanish. Because if you want to get all the good interviews, you've got to learn Spanish. Now you've got to learn Russian.
Yeah. Or Arabic. Or Arabic.
Or Arabic.
Yeah.
Arabic, yeah.
But it's true. I remember, to be fair, you would get good shit if you spoke Spanish. Because they really like that. So maybe you should work on that.
I should probably learn to drive first.
Russian though, I mean the problem is if yeah, that's probably first on the list. But Beterbiev, he's 39, right? I always look at it from like a business perspective, as in like my work. And it's like he's 39, barely speaks a lick of English, can't be asked with interviews. If he wins this, obviously he's anointed the #1 light heavyweight in the world. It's not. Is that good for boxing? I don't know what happens.
How old is Bivol?
33.
Right, okay.
23-0. So this is what I always think. Like if he wins, he is the #1. Yeah, he's clear. Then he's like flag in the ground. I'm the best of my era, and it's like who can beat me? And then we've got like Buatsi, and they'll all have a go. That wasn't that long ago. We had, I think it was the top 5. I think it was a WBC maybe, and it was like Aziz, Buatsi, Arthur, someone else, Callum Smith. Basically, the top 5 were all Brits.
Yard.
And Yard, yeah. And that was obviously outside the champion. But like the top 5 in the rankings was Brits, not quite the same now. But like, It's the same with Dubois beating Joshua. Fucking people were like, oh, it's bad for business because Joshua's like always the cash cow and he's the big news. But it's like, yeah, but what about if Daniel Dubois is like 26? Got 10 years of that.
Yeah.
Could be. But who knows? I mean, it's good for what's good for boxing if this one is an absolute barn burner.
We need it.
And then we get a rematch.
Yeah,
then,
that'd be.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But they're already talking about what might happen for next. Like they're talking about fucking Bivol boxing Opataya or Beterbiev, who's boxing David Morrell, which is a great fight in January.
Unbelievable fight.
Like the winner of that, then.
To be fair, those fights would be. If you break it down and look at it in minute detail, maybe not, but on the surface, unbelievable fights. Yeah,
imagine Benavidez against Beterbiev. Like it's again, it's one of that's more like, right. If I just need a puncher and a volume puncher, someone can just try and overwhelm him. You chuck him in. I think he gets taken out, like Joe Smith did.
Well, we'd really see how tough he is then.
Yeah, completely. I bet he's tough as fuck though. Yeah. I mean, he is. Look at what Yard hit him with the kitchen sink.
No, I mean Benavidez.
Oh well, yeah. Fuck me. I mean, yeah. He is like so exciting. It's a shame about the Canelo thing, but he's young.
I think he deserves that fight. I mean, obviously he has to get through this next fight because this next fight.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if he comes through that, like he obviously had life and death. Caleb Plant. I mean, life and death's probably the wrong way of putting it, but like that was a good fight. Plant was totally great, but like, yeah, see what he does now with Morrell. He's getting better with every fight. He's someone who's great for business. Like I interviewed him before who did he just box? I can't remember. But and he was really good, like really good stuff.
There's a few of them that are like Opataya is fucking great.
He's fucking great.
He's just like you can't.
He's
for
so
me,
intense.
you can't help but love him. He's so intense.
So I interviewed him in. So he came over for that press conference, right? The one where Eubank called Frank Warren a scumbag or whatever, and I apologised, of course. Anyway, Opataya came over from Australia for that, and then he was like, "Well, I ain't going back to Australia. I'm in the middle of camp." So he's just been in England, London, going around sparring. The day after, they did some extra media, and I was like, "Can I get Opataya for the magazine?" It was in there. It was in this week. I can't remember. Anyway, it was in this week. Literally, we did half an hour or whatever. He was crying twice, 2 different points. He's just so intense and so emotional. We had one of the points started crying.
Okay.
He's like, fucking whatever you want, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? He's so serious.
Yeah.
And that's why, just touching on his fight now against Jack Massey, I don't see him dropping the ball. You know, when someone can be complacent, have an off night, he's so intense. I just don't see how that happens.
No.
And his old man's back now, the one who, he was a former boxer and he trained him as a kid and all that stuff. They had a fallout and a separation before the first Bradis fight, but he's back in business now. First fight with his old man. You might have seen the clips of him at Churchill's actually.
Yeah.
And he's inspiring people there. He inspired Dan Aziz and whatnot. But his old man's back on the scene, so it's like, how's that going to work?
Yeah.
Like, what if they don't get on? What if he's like now unlocked a new level?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's exciting times.
Yeah.
Because these guys, you can really make caricatures out of them.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah. We need them though, don't we? Because
we need them.
Like, there was a time going to Vegas, it would be like, you got Mayweather was fighting, it was like, I would have so much work. That was when I was freelancing. It was like, so much work because everyone, not just boxing, not just sport, everyone was interested in Mayweather. I remember there was a clip where it was like, he was doing a press conference and like a door got battered down, loads of people, it was like a stampede. Sold it to like fucking BBC News or something. Like, it's just like bigger than boxing.
There's not too many of those now though.
None.
If any.
Really? Like, if you think about it, Joshua was kind of edging towards it in this country. Fury was definitely, especially on Netflix and whatnot. But like, outside of them two, as a journalist, you're like, I'm fighting to work for the trade paper. So like, anything boxing goes. But if you're working for the newspapers, there was a time when it would be like, David Hay would get in the paper, Tony Bellew would get in the paper, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, George Groves, James Gale, endless. Kevin Mitchell used to get in the paper, Lee Selby. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just these people, they would never get in anymore. Like, barely any boxer gets in the paper now. Eubank, Ben, controversial stuff, Joshua, and Fury. But beyond that, it's kind of hard.
This is the thing, I think I live in a bubble. Where I grew up in that era with the Amir Khans, Kevin Mitchells, and now I'm just an obsessive geek.
Yeah,
I think everyone is obsessed. Everyone wants to hear about it. It's so not the case. The other day, I was talking to somebody from America, and they said, "You do know in America, UFC is bigger than boxing?" I nearly cried. What? Can you believe it?
Yeah, they also don't know. There's lots of people we think are like big names. They don't give a shit about them.
Yeah.
Like, they genuinely don't. I remember interviewing Andre Ward in Vegas in the press room. It must have been he must have been there with HBO or something, I can't remember. Anyway, obviously asked him about Froch Groves because he was a super middleweight, and it was like the winner might box you, and he'd obviously already beaten Froch. He was like, that's a domestic fight. Like, I don't even care about it. I was like, there's fucking 80,000 people going to Wembley for it. He was like, we don't care about it here.
Crazy.
It's mad, isn't it? It's the same with, I interviewed Prograis last night, actually, Regis Prograis, boxing Jack Catterall, obviously. And I asked him about like the first Taylor fight and the controversial decision in that. And for us, it was like one of the biggest scream-ups we've had for a long time when people went mad about it. He was like, yeah, I mean, it's a close fight. I thought Catterall nicked it, but I wasn't crying about it. But here, it was like the fucking world had caved in. They just didn't care. And that was on ESPN.
It is weird though, because I feel like a lot of people compare American boxing culture to British boxing culture. As in, like, when you go to the theatre in New York and when you go to York Hall, it's similar because people love it. They're there, they fucking love it. But actually, like you said, it's like we really are quite dramatic.
We do think the world revolves around our scene, but it kind of doesn't.
No, unfortunately.
No, some divisions it has. Like the heavyweights right now, we're there. Apart from fucking Usyk, which is the kind of fly in the ointment, and he's the best of the lot.
The king.
Yeah, but then below that, it's like we're the sort of best of the rest, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, two Russians fighting for like the light heavyweight title is like, it's not great for the UK trade, but like, if Beterbiev wins, imagine he knocks him out in like 3 rounds. That is still like a huge win in the history of sport, like history of boxing. This is one, if he does that, a bit like Crawford beating Spence, where it's like, that was such a one-sided beatdown that no one can ever forget it. Goes in, slides into history as like, this was fucking mega.
Yeah, it puts them up there.
We could get that on Saturday.
We could.
Or we could get a damn
We could
square.
get a stinker.
Yeah.
Who knows? Basically, we're not putting our necks on the line.
No, but I would pick Bivol if I had a gun to my head.
Okay, well, you're going Bivol, I'll go Beterbiev. He's got better jokes.
Has he? I haven't tried Bivol, to be fair.
Depends how dry you are.
Yeah, he can't be us either. Like, and I quite rate it. You know, when the boxer's just like, I have no interest in giving you anything.
Yeah.
Like, they're not selling anything. It's just like, all I want to do is fucking fight someone.
Yeah.
But luckily on the card, Wardley Clarke.
For me, that saved the card.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there are some good names on the undercard, but that's the fight where we're going to be screaming at the TV.
You'd hope so, or will we?
I think so.
I don't want to say, like, but I'm just thinking, how many rematches in history have been, I mean, you've got some ones that got better, like, in history, like Gatti Ward and stuff like that, but, like, 2 big heavyweights like that, there's so much on the line. If the loser is in trouble, like, especially if you're Fraser Clarke, who's 33, you've already gone to, like, the fucking edge of hell in that first fight, both of them, and you're like, oh, fucking 6 months later, you got to do it again.
I get what you're saying, but looking at both men, not who they are as boxers, not who they are as what they can do technically, but looking at them as men,
they just want to have it.
I don't think they have any other option.
No, I agree. Especially Wardley is like this reactive fighter, this like obviously the white collar guy, knockout artist. He only knows one way.
That's it. He's more dangerous when he's hurt.
Yeah, 100%.
He
yeah.
couldn't quit if he fucking wanted
No,
to.
I mean honestly, the damage he took in that first fight, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
And I'd text him the next day, just being like, I would say, "How's your face?" And he just sent a picture. It was just like, I feel like I've been punched in the face for an hour. So it's about right.
Yeah,
but Clarke, for him, like if I'm Fraser Clarke's coach, I'm like, if you keep this straight and long, and and just don't give anything away, you can't lose this fight, based on what we saw in the first one. It's when he gets
his coach doesn't want him to do that, and there's going to be a part of him with his pedigree
just knows that he could win that fight.
But there's also a part of him that's like, I'm no. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to prove it. Yeah. Because he is 33. What is he like? 8-0 with that draw, I think. And you think if he loses to Fabio Wardley, given the rest of the sort of scene at heavyweight, where's his route to the top? Really.
Route to the top is one thing, but he's still got options.
Oh, he'll have loads of fights, but he wants to be a world champion. He wants to go and achieve. He don't like when he turned over. He wouldn't have been like, I'll just have like 7 domestic fights and maybe get a European title. He was like, no, I'm fucking here I'm an Olympian. I want to be a world champion. Yeah. But it's like Fabio Wardley loses. He's 29. He can come. Obviously, they can both come again. Like no doubt about it. But there's so much on the line. That's what makes it such a good fight.
Yeah.
Wardley reckons as well. Like you've got to agree with him at 29 and getting better every fight and can punch like fuck. It's like, if he wins this, like he needs to get through this chapter, like get over Fraser Clarke and then move on. In 5 years, like think about how that division's going to look. There'll be no Fury, Usyk and Joshua anymore. Dubois will still be around. Most of the time, by that point, would be like mid-20s, like probably fucking everyone up. But like, there's an opportunity for him to really be a proper lead in heavyweight when you assess the rest of the division. Jared Anderson just lost, and you're like, he's already spoken about he doesn't want to be a boxer very long. So it's like, what's going to become of him? There's an opportunity for Fabio Wardley to become a proper big name.
100%. But how does he change what happened in that first fight? With Clarke, it's easier.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Get on your jab more.
He needs to just do more of it. It just needs to be more mental, like punch more, like more wildly. But that the way he throws the right hand, the problem is Clarke's never seen that in his how many amateur bouts he had, because who the fuck like taught like that? Right yeah. Whereas like, it's a hard one because I don't think Ben Davison's going to be like, right, let's try and outbox him. Like, let's get behind the jab and get on the bike. It's not going to happen. That's not what they're going to do.
Wait, is Ben Davison trained?
Fabio Wardley's coach.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he works back at home, who he's always worked with, but he's been with Ben for like a couple of years now.
Did not know that.
Yeah, but it's not full time. He doesn't live there. So like, at that gym, you've got like Campbell Hatton, the McCormack brothers, and Royston Barney Smith. They live together in a house in the week and train and then go home at the weekends, like Sheffield. Right. And then like Lee Wood does similar. I think he might drive back and forth, I'm not sure. Itam was just gone there as well. Obviously Joshua, fuck knows what he does. He doesn't live in a house with the McCormack brothers, but do you know what I mean? He's in and out, but he's in London anyway.
I mean, that is an unreal
Fabio
statement.
Wardley he lives back in Ipswich still. He lives at home, but he comes in. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but he's been there good. Yeah, it must be certainly not their first fight. They were together in the first fight. I think he did the corner. I'm just trying to think when that started. But Wardley said he was very like pissed off with the criticism Ben Davison got for the Joshua fight. And he's the next one out, the next heavyweight out of the gym. He wants to like prove a point and sort of do it for the gym. Do you know what I mean? That's
always a tough one though, when coaches get criticism.
Yeah, he got hammered for that.
Yeah, and he was unlucky because McGuigan called it at the. It made him look worse.
Yeah, I mean that really did not help him.
It made him look worse. I don't think he would have got half the criticism if that hadn't happened the way it happened.
Such a good point. It's like it really fucking that clip really nailed him, because it was just like changed, just like.
Nah, don't do it.
Come on,
like
don't do that, because this is gonna happen. And then it did happen.
Yeah.
The reality is, it happens after Joshua's landed 3 clean right hands, so it could have quite easily happened that Dubois got slept by the first one. And then none of that happens.
Do you think Dubois was hurt in that fight? Because I don't.
Mate, that guy, like, he got hit. Same with Hrgovic. No, I don't think so. He just gets hit and he just doesn't move.
He took a step backwards, so everyone's saying he was hurt. I don't think he was hurt.
No, he was just trying to get some space. He wanted to get some space. And he threw it with such a beautiful shot, and it's like, I mean, fuck it as well. Just while we're on that, Don Charles, man, you got to love it, because he's been at it for so long. Obviously had the opportunities with Derek Chisora, but they were always like, going to fucking Germany and boxing Klitschko, like he was never. I mean, he was a big underdog here, and the way he spoke, I think it was seconds out. I think he did the interview with the day after. Just beautiful stuff he was saying about when he came over to England, and it was like all he wanted to do, and this was like a culmination of a dream and whatnot. You realise what boxing is about. It's not just like that little bit of like action in the middle, but it's like how it affects everyone else.
Their lives, aren't they? I mean, although it should have happened a long time ago. What a time for it to happen for him.
I mean,
to get his
at Wembley,
to get his flowers
against Joshua. You know, the thing with Joshua and Don Charles, they go back years, because when Joshua, I think it was when he was just turning over, so he'd left Finchley. Obviously, he was with GB. Was it even before GB? Well, before he'd left GB. Anyway, apparently he was in a petrol station. He was walking along, and Joshua, who obviously went to Finchley where Derek Chisora did, where his picture was on the wall and all that stuff. Like Chisora inspired Joshua in that way. So he's like, I want to be trained by Chisora's coach, and had said to Don Charles, like, will you train me? And I think they did a bit, but it obviously never went anywhere. So then all those years later, Don Charles is in the opposite corner at fucking Wembley Stadium to, well, defend the world title, but in a world title fight like that, and then to get the stoppage like that. Amazing. That was the cover I was talking about. Our cover that week. The headline was Kingslayer, and it was an unbelievable picture of Dubois You know what Dubois is like? Emotionless. It just looks like he's not cheering. He's not like, yes, he's not relieved. It's just his face. Anthony Joshua is asleep on the front cover of Boxing News. It's just iconic. The dad is in the background clapping. Don Charles is in the background. It's just like a unbelievable image. And it's just like all of that, like the beauty of boxing rolled into one. You got the fucking despair. Well, not even despair. He's asleep. Don't even know what's going on. And then you've got this guy who's just been sent out to fight, and he's done his job, and he's not even happy about it. Everyone else is like losing their minds. It's just, and then you bring it back to Beterbiev and Bivol. Both of them just cold. Totally cold. Like there'll be none of that. It'll be like water off the duck's back all week.
Yeah.
Like the fucking fake snow and that. They're like, don't care. Just want to have a fight.
Even the promo for that, I think that's the best one so far.
Yeah. Do you know why I think I agree? Is because like the promo's been amazing. Obviously, this has been one of the weird side stories of Saudis. Those fucking videos have been unbelievable. But it's like this one also made sense.
It made sense. I've got to be honest. I didn't love the last one.
The Sweet Caroline one.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense.
I could kind of see it was Guy Ritchie. You're gonna have to speak to him.
Yeah, I don't think I
You can't have a go at Guy Ritchie. He's fucking national treasure.
No, thank you.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It was like, so all of these guys have got into tangles with gangsters, but now they're singing Sweet Caroline, and they're kind of yeah, and then they fly at the end. Yeah, I forgot the flying bit. I like
maybe
the one.
I'm not artistic enough to understand it.
Yeah, maybe there's some other underlying message, but at least that one was clear. It was like, look, it's Game of Thrones. These two guys are like going to war.
Really good.
But they've been good, those promos. Yeah, and all of that does feed into like just boxing crossing over a bit, especially in like a TikTok age and like Instagram age, where people just catch it and see it and they're like, "Whoa, what's this?"